Fergus, Laura, I'd just like to introduce you to the rock royalty that we're going to speak to later on in this podcast.
What?
It's Brian May. Hello, Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Hello, Fergus and Laura.
Hello.
Yourself.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, apart from a bit of an injury to some of my muscles, which I sustained in the garden. I can't walk and I can't sleep at the moment, but I'm sure.
Really? Oh no.
Apart from that, you're fine.
Apart from that, I'm great.
Okay, well,
Excellent.
Get well soon, and we'll
you.
speak to you at length about what you're doing to raise money for the World Health Organization. I thought it was the WHO, as in the WHO, not the WHO. But we can clear all that up in a bit.
We'll clarify it.
Yes, thank you for joining us. But
We won't get fooled again, will we?
let's talk about all the day's news as well in this edition of the Coronavirus Newscast.
The Coronavirus Newscast from the BBC.
Very much. And as promised, we're now going to speak to rock royalty Brian May. Hello, Brian.
Hello. Not feeling very royal at the moment, but it is I. Yes. How are you doing?
With your sore glutes. Now,
It seems to be amusing everybody. Yes, one of the most painful things I've ever had.
how
How did it happen?
I ripped it in the garden somehow. Yes, I don't know what happened.
do some
I was very
extreme
lucky.
gardening?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, we'll carry on.
Oh, dear.
now tell us about We Are the Champions, which is actually
you are
now
the champ-
You Are the
Or
Champions.
perhaps you are the champions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about it.
It started off as kind of as a bit of fun, I suppose. I've been doing some little, what I call micro concerts at night, and I play a bit of guitar and I talk about it sometimes, and sometimes it's like a tutorial, sometimes it's like come and jam with Brian, and hundreds of people have been doing it, which is nice. And then I thought, how interesting would it be if one of the people who took up my challenge was perhaps Rog, my drummer, Queen drummer, and supposing he jammed along with what I'd put up on Instagram, and then perhaps how would it be if Adam took up the challenge as well and he sang, would we have a record? Now, this is a few weeks ago now, and I think it was early days, and people kind of went, that's not going to work. But it actually did, and we ended up with a very nice record, I think, which is very apposite to the times. And we had a discussion about should we change the words, because it can mean something in this particular situation. And we thought, let's aim it at the carers around the world. The WHO, not the WHO, but the WHO has a fund to support carers and medical people and frontliners all around the world. So we decided we would make it You Are the Champions, meaning them, and we would dedicate the record to them and also send all the money to them.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. It works out very well.
Well, let's have a listen.
We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions. You are the champions, my friends.
If only we're allowed lighters in this studio. Man, do you do like?
I expect to see you waving around.
Yeah, and is Roger Taylor's daughter actually one of the champions on the front line?
That's right, she is. She's a doctor. And I feel so much for these, I would say, they're kids to us, all these young people who trained for years and years and years to become the top of their line, the pinnacle of their profession. And we send them to fight this virus basically unarmed and unprotected. It's a big thing with me. I think it's to our eternal shame that this happened. And the least we can do is to support them. And it'd be nice to pay them properly as well at some point.
Do you think some of that will change on the other side of this when we eventually get there?
It damn well better do. I mean, I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff that I put up on my Instagram. I generally put some kind of comment up most of the time, as well as music. And I think it's vital at this pivotal point that we don't try and go back to the way things were before. This is, to me, a golden opportunity and a vitally necessary opportunity to change things and go forward to a different world, which is more considerate, more compassionate, and in taking care of the environment takes care of us as well. I don't think enough attention is being paid to change. To me, there has to be radical change now. We cannot go back to the situation which produced this catastrophe.
What kind of thing would you like to see?
I would like to see a complete reorganisation of priorities. I would like to put welfare of people and animals before money. I would like to try and cut down the amount of fossil fuels we consume. I'd like to cut down the pollution. I mean, I'm in a place now, I'm locked down like everybody else, and I look up and the sky is clear. The air is good to breathe. I can hear birds sing. We run a wildlife rescue as well, and animals normally are coming in all day and all night, having been wounded and orphaned and injured on the roads. It's not happening now. The world is in many ways a better place. Apart from the human tragedy, the world is benefiting, the world of nature and the surroundings. Climate change has helped because we're cutting down our emissions. Pollution is changing. So I believe we have to seize upon this and not go back.
Brian, you famously did a bit of social distancing guitar playing on the roof of Buckingham Palace. So you introduced us to this whole concept of playing many, many meters from anybody else. Could you imagine doing that again, maybe in a couple of years' time?
No, I think someone else can do it next time. I think I did my bit. It was fantastic. It was life-changing, I've got to tell you, because people say, were you scared of falling off? No, I wasn't scared of falling off. I was scared of making an idiot of myself in front of 1 billion people live. And it was major facing fear and life-changing in every way. No, someone else can do it next time, and you can experience this wonderful thrill that I got.
What
You can do it.
what about live music coming back though? I mean, you spent so much of your life touring. Can you see that coming back, and how much do you think it's being missed? I mean, it doesn't look like anything like touring will be back, maybe till next year.
Well, it's a very big question. I think it's a bigger question than people think. We've rescheduled our European and British tour. We sold 400,000 tickets and had to put it all on hold, and we've scheduled it for this time next year. Now, I don't know what the situation will be, and I don't think anyone does, and I don't know if it's going to be appropriate to be putting 18,000 people in a confined space and playing music to them. I think we all have to look at this very carefully, and will it be appropriate for people to be charging around the world on jumbo jets and using up fossil fuels and polluting the earth? I'm not sure. I think we have to rethink absolutely everything.
So the old mega tours, 100 cities in 2 years, that should go.
I'm not sure. I think we have to look at it and see if there are different ways of doing it, and see if there are ways of mitigating the disaster that all of this stuff has caused. We're still flying water around the world. It's H2O, for God's sake. We're still having businessmen trying to get to New York for a business meeting. It all has to change. We know that we can do it by Zoom now. Let's get into it. Let's find out how we can mitigate the disaster that we've wrought upon the world.
May well
Brian,
do.
thank you very much, and get well soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
you.
Brian.
So, guys, in honour of the fact that We Are the Champions is now called You Are the Champions,
Yeah.
I've taken some of my own liberties with Queen song titles. Do you want to hear?
Of course I want to hear.
Bohemian Rhapsody for the R number. Don't Swab Me Now. We Will Test You.
Or not.
Or not.
As the case may be.
The last 4 days. Good Old Fashioned Glover Boy. And then I've left the best
Okay,
till last.
Go on.
There should almost be a drum roll for this because it's so good.
Shall I do it?
PPE Will Rock You.
I'm speechless.
Thanks, everyone. See you for another episode soon.
Certainly enough for now. Goodbye.
Bye.
The Coronavirus Newscast from the BBC.